Hey, you guys, we're back. Back to reading The Maid by Nita Prose. Wonderful author. So, I'm not going to do a recap, so I'm going to just continue, okay? Because, yeah, that's all I can say. Mind you, I'm still high. Ooh, okay. He does not own the Regency Grand. Uh, he does not own the Regency Grand, Mr. Snow once said about Mr. Black when Mr. Black was still very much alive. Mr. Snow punctuated at his comment with a funny little sniff. I have no idea what that sniff was supposed to mean. One of the reasons why I become fond of Mr. Black's second wife, Giselle, is because she tells me things plainly, and she uses her words. This morning, the first time I entered the Black's penthouse, I cleaned it from top to bottom, minus the occupied bathroom, because Giselle was in it. She did not seem herself at all. I noted upon my arrival that her eyes were red and puffy. Allergies? I wondered. Or could it be sadness? Giselle did not dally. Rather, soon upon my arrival, she ran off to the bathroom and slammed the door shut behind her. I did not allow her behavior to interfere with the task at hand. On the contrary, I got to work immediately and cleaned the suite vigorously. When when it was in perfect order, I stood outside the closed bathroom door with a box of tissues and called out to Giselle the way Mr. Snow had taught me. Your room has been restored to a state of perfection. I'll return later to clean the bathroom. I don't know if she talks like that. I don't know about her. We're gonna go with it. Okay, Giselle replied. No need to yell. Jeez. When she I don't know, sorry that made me giggle. When she eventually emerged from the bathroom, I handed her a tissue in case she was indeed allergic or upset. I expected a bit of conversation because she is often quite talkative, but she quickly whisked herself away to the bedroom to get dressed. I left the suite then and worked through the fourth floor room. Wow. What did I just say? Okay. I left the suite then and worked through the fourth floor, room after room. I fluffed pillows and polished gilt mirrors. I spritzed smudges and stains from wallpaper and walls. I bundled soiled sheets and moist towels. Oh boy. Sorry, that word. Why? Ow. That word. Ew. I'm gonna say it again though. Wait. Okay. Moist. I don't know why that word is horrible. So stupid. Okay. I disinfected the porcelain toilets and sinks. Halfway through my work on the floor, I took a brief respite to deliver my trolleys to the basement. Uh, where I dropped off two large, heavy bags of sully sheets and towels at the laundry. Why am I giggling? What is wrong with me? Hey, wow. Like, don't look at me. Stop. Stop. I can't. I can't. I can't. Stop. Okay, let me get it together. Okay. Okay. Despite the airlessness of the basement quarters, conditions aggravated by the bright fluorescent lights, very low ceilings, it was a thief to leave those bags behind. Oh wow. I think I missed a whole. Well, I'm gonna just keep on going. Okay. As I headed back to the corridors, I felt a great deal lighter. I felt a great deal lighter if I, if a tad dewy. Okay. Hmm. Oh, okay. I just, I decided to pay a visit to one Manuel. One Manuel. Okay, I'm gonna get it together. Sir. Okay. I decided to pay a visit to Juan Manuel, a dishwasher in the kitchen. I zoomed through the labyrinth halls, making the familiar turns left, right, left, right, left, right, rather like a clever trained mouse in a maze. When I reached the wide kitchen doors and pushed through, Juan Manuel stopped everything and immediately got me a large drink of cold water with ice, which I appreciated greatly. After a short and agreeable chat, I left him. I then replenished my clean towels and sheets in the housekeeping quarters. Next, next up, I went to the fresher air of the second floor to begin cleaning a new set of rooms, which suspiciously yielded only small change in tips, but more on that later. By the time I checked my watch, it was around 3 o'clock. It was it was time to circle back to the fourth floor and clean Mr. and Mrs. Black's bathroom. I paused outside their door to listen for evidence of occupancy. I knocked as per protocol. Housekeeping, I said in a loud but politely authoritative voice. No reply. I took my master key card and buzzed into their suite, dragging my trolley behind. Mr. and Mrs. Black, may I complete my sanitation visit? I would very much like to return my room to the state of protection. Sorry. I would very much like to return your room to a state of perfection. Nothing. Clearly, or so I thought. Husband and wife were out. All the better for me. I could do my work thoroughly and without disturbance. I let the heavy door close behind me. I surveyed their sitting room. It was not as I left it a few hours earlier, neat and clean. The curtains had been drawn against the impressive floor to ceiling windows overlooking the street below. And there were several small minibar bottles of the scotch knocked over the glass table. At a tumbler beside it half empty. Okay. An unsmoked cigar. Oh my God. What am I reading? My head. Man, this high. She hitting this high. She slapping. She she slaps. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through it. Where was I? Wait. 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 She looked like I was just I felt like a robot. Like what was I reading? Oh my God. Uh, I know where I'm at. I know where I'm at. No, I know where I'm at. I think I hope. Hope, hope I do. I hope I know where I'm at. I know where I'm at. I think I know where I'm at. I think I know where I'm at. Yeah. Mm, traversing. Oh, damn. I usually get all this. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. We're gonna try this again. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so we stopped off. She was walking into the room with an authoritative voice. Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Black, may I complete my sanitation visit? I would very much like to return your room to a state of perfection. Nothing. Clearly, or so I thought. Husband and wife were out. All the better for me. I could do my work thoroughly and without disturbance. I let the heavy door close behind me. I surveyed their sitting room. It was not as it was not as I left it a few hours earlier, neat and clean. The curtains had been drawn back against the impressive floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the street below, and there were several small minibar bottles of scotch knocked over on the glass table, the tumbler beside it half empty, an unsmoked cigar beside that, a crumpled napkin on the floor, and a divot on the divan where the drinker's bottom had left its mark. Giselle's yellow purse was no longer where I seen it in the morning, on the bureau by the entrance, which meant she was traversing the town. A maze of work is never done. I thought to myself as I pulled the pillow off the divan, plumped it, returned it to its spot, and smoothed any lingering divin imperfections. Before cleaning up the table, I decided to check the state of the other rooms. It was looking very much like I had cleaned the entire suite from scratch. I headed to the bathroom at the back of the suite. The door was open, and one of the hotel's plush, white Bathrobes were thrown on the floor just outside the threshold. From my vantage point, I could see the bedroom closet with one door still open, exactly as I left it in the morning, because the safe inside was also open, and was preventing the closet door from closing properly. Some of the safe's contents were still intact. I could see that much immediately, but the objects that had caused me some consternation in the morning were notably missing. In some ways, this was a relief. I turned my attention away from the closet, stepped carefully over the bathrobe on the floor, and entered the bedroom. And only then did I see him, Mr. Black. He was wearing the same double-breasted suit he had on earlier when he bowled me over in the hallway. Only the paper in his breast pocket was gone. He was living down, flat on his back, on the bed. The bed was creased and disheveled. As though he tossed and turned a lot before settling on his back. His head was resting on one pillow, not two. The other two pillows were skewed beside him. I would have to locate the mandatory mandatory fourth pillow, mandatory, which I most certainly put on the bed this morning when I mated, because the devil is, as they say, in the details. Mr. Black's shoes were off. On the other side of the room, I remember that distinctly because one shoe pointed south on the other east, and immediately I knew it was my professional duty to point both shoes in the same direction and smooth out the nasty tangle of laces before I left the room. Of course, my first thought upon beholding the scene was not that Mr. Black was dead. It was that he was napping soundly after having enjoyed more than one afternoon tipple in the sitting room. But upon further observation, I noted some other oddities in this room. On the bedside table to the left of Mr. Black was an open bottle of medication, a bottle I recognized as Giselle's. Various small blue pills as cascaded out of the bottle, some landing on the bedside table and others on the floor. A couple of pills had been trampled, reduced to fine powder that was not ground into the carpet. This would require high vacuum suction, followed by a spot of carpet deodorizer to return the carpet pile to the state of perfection. Oh, it isn't often that I enter a suite to find a guest sound asleep in bed. If anything, much to my dismay, it's more common that I stumble across a guest in another state entirely. Flagrant, as they say in Latin. Most guests who decide to sleep or to engage in private activities are courteous enough to employ the do not disturb ZZZZ sleeping door hanger. I always leave the front door bureau for such eventualities. Oh, and the most Guests call out immediately if I advertently, inadvertently, advertently, inadvertently catch them at an inopportune moment. But not so with Mr. Black. Did he not call out and order me to bugger off? Ooh, I lost the flow. I don't know what I was doing, but I was feeling it. I don't know. I was in it. I was here for her. Ah, I like that. I felt good in it. Felt it. I felt confident. Oh, wow. That was good. That felt good. I felt like Angela Bassett. I felt like Denzel in Washington. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. Whew. Where am I? Oh, okay. Call me. Call out immediately if inadvertently catch them at an inopportune moment. But not but not so with Mr. Black. He did not call out and order me to bugger off, which is how he would normally dismiss me if I arrived at the wrong time. Instead, he remained soundly asleep. It was then that I realized that I had not heard him breathe during the 10 seconds or more I've been standing in this bedroom door. I do know something about sound sleepers because my grand happened to be one, but no sleeper rests so deeply that he gives up breathing entirely. I thought it prudent to check on Mr. Black and ensue that he was quite all right. This, too, is a maid's professional duty. I took a small step forward to scrutinize his face. That's when I noticed how gray he appeared, how puffy, and how distinctly unwell. I gingerly moved even closer, right to his bedside, where I loomed over him. His wrinkles were entrenched, his mouth drawn down in a scowl, though for Mr. Black that can hardly be considered unusual. There were strange little marks around his eyes, like red and purple pinpricks. Only then did my mind suddenly ring alarm bells. It was at that moment that I fully cued the disturbing fact that there was more wrong with this situation than I realized at the outset. I raised a hand forward and tapped Mr. Black's shoulder. It felt rigid and cold, like a piece of furniture. I put my hand in front of his mouth in the desperate hope that I feel some breath come out of him, but to no avail. No, 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 I said as I put two fingers to his neck, checking for a pulse, which I did not find. I took him by the shoulders and shook. Sir, sir, wake up! It was a silly thing to do, now that I think about it, but at the time it still seemed largely impossible that Mr. Black could actually be dead. When I let him go, he plunked down, his head banging ever so slightly against the headboard. I backed away from the bed, then, my own arms rigid by my side. I shuffled to the other bedside table, where there was a phone, and I called down to the front desk. Regency Grand, reception. How can I help you? Good afternoon. I said, I'm not a guest. I don't usually call for help. This is Molly, the maid. I'm in the penthouse suite 401, and I'm dealing with a rather unusual situation, an uncommon mess of sorts. Why are you calling reception? Call housekeeping. Oh, so sad. Damn. I am housekeeping, I said, my voice rising. Please, if you could alert Mr. Snow that there's a guest who is permanently indisposed. Permanently indisposed? This is whoops. This is why this is why it's always best to be direct and clear at all times, but in that moment I can admit that I'd lost my head temporarily. He is very dead, I said. Dead in his bed. Call Mr. Snow and please dial emergency services immediately. I hung up after that. To be honest, what happened next all feels surreal and dreamlike. I recall my heart clanging in my chest, the room tilting like a Hitchcock film, my hands going clammy, and the receiver almost slipping from my grasp as I put it back in its place. It was then that I looked up. On the wall in front of me was a gilt frame, gilt frame mirror, reflecting not only my terrified face back at me, but everything I failed to notice before. The vertigo got worse then, floor tilting like a funhouse. I put a hand to my chest, a futile attempt to still my heart trembling. It's easier than, it's easier than you ever think. It's easier than you ever think, existing in plain sight while remaining largely invisible. That's what I've learned from being a maid. You can be so important, so crucial to the fabric of things, and yet be entirely overlooked. It's the truth that applies to maids and to others as well, so it seems. It's a truth that cuts close to the bone. I fainted not long after that. The room went dark and I simply crumbled, as I sometimes do when unconsciousness becomes overwhelming. Now, as I sit here in Mr. Snow's luxurious office, my hands are shaking, my nerves are frayed. What's right is right. What's done is done. But still I tremble. I employ Grand's mental trick to steady myself. Whenever tension got unbearable in a film, she'd grab the remote control and fast forward. There's, she say, no point jangling out nerves when the ending's inevitable. What will be. The truth is, well, sorry, that is true of the movie. but less true in real life. In real life, the actions you take can change the results. From sad to happy, from disappointing to satisfactory, from wrong to right. Grant's tricks served me well. I fast forward and pick up my mental replay at just the right spot. My trembling immediately subsides. I was still in the suite, but not in the bedroom. I was by the front door. I rushed back into the bedroom, grabbed the phone receiver for the second time, and called down to reception. This time I demanded to speak to Mr. Snow. When I heard his voice on the line saying, "Hello? What is it?" I made sure to be very clear. "This is Molly! Mr. Black! This is Molly! Mr. Black is dead! I'm in his room! Please call emergency services immediately!" Approximately 13 minutes later, Mr. Snow entered the room with a small army of medical personnel and police officers filing in behind him. He led me away, guiding me by the elbow, like a small child. And now, here I sit in his office, just off the main lobby in Jennifer and Squeaky. Oh, wow. Okay, wait. And now, here I sit in his office, just off the main lobby, in a firm and squeaky maroon leather high-backed chair. Mr. Snow left some time ago, perhaps an hour, maybe more. He told me to stay put until he returned. I have a lovely cup of tea in one hand and a shortbread biscuit in the other. Can't remember who brought them to me. I take the cup to my lips. It's warm, but not scalding, or an ideal temperature. My hands are still trembling slightly. Who made me such a perfect cup of tea? Was it Mr. Snow? Or someone else in the kitchen? Perhaps one man.